It seems that with my current strength, it's still a bit difficult to eliminate this guy. In the devouring realm, the dark, ominous devouring force spread out. Unfortunately, the attack from the Devourer of Souls and Feng Hao's strike were evenly matched. The Devourer of Souls then spoke, his words cautious. After all, he had concerns and couldn't unleash his full strength. Otherwise, he could easily obliterate Feng Hao right now. It seems I'll have to settle for this for now. After a moment of thought, the Devourer of Souls, shrouded in the black energy, glanced at the 7 resurrection soul lamp nestled between the 2 ancient celestial trees and slowly smiled, already formulating a plan in his mind. Boom, boom, boom. The dark devouring realm spread its mysterious and powerful devouring force. The power of the Devourer of Souls was magnified, and though Feng Hao was at his peak, facing such a powerful domain lord, he was struggling to keep up. Teacher's strength is truly unfathomable, Xiao murmured, noticing the simultaneous annihilation of the dark lightning beam and devouring power. His gaze hardened, filled with intense focus. Whoosh whoosh. After a brief pause, an inconspicuous black mist entered Xiao Yan's mind within the devouring realm, carrying with it the Devourer of Souls plan. Heh. Hearing this, Xiao Yan smiled faintly and then, taking advantage of the cover of the devouring realm, headed toward the position of the 7 resurrection soul lamp. Feng Hao, the lord of the Western Divine Palace, truly lives up to his name. For a near-peak level expert like him, a single exchange revealed everything about his strength. Their strikes collided, and both figures retreated a step, eyes locked in wary vigilance. Feng Hao's hand wielded a thunder axe, dark lightning emanating with overwhelming power, constantly on guard against the Devourer of Souls. Meanwhile, the Devourer of Souls was shrouded in black mist, his form almost indistinguishable from Feng Hao's. Though this guy is heavily injured and not at his peak, with my current power, I still can't kill him. I suppose I'll have to imprison him for now and inform Lord of the ferocious soul domain. He should be pleased once he hears. Rustle. In the blink of an eye, Feng Hao's pupils contracted. The thunder axe in his hand sparked with arcs of lightning, spreading through the black, devouring realm. Clearly, he had decided to go all out. Thunder axe. Sky-sealing slash. Instantly, Feng Hao's pupils flared with endless lightning as he raised his hands. The thunder axe was lifted above his head with a mighty roar, releasing an overwhelming force of energy that spread from the axe, shooting toward the Devourer of Souls with a subtle binding power. This fluctuation, it already reaches the pinnacle of celestial techniques, though it's still lacking a little to reach that realm. Soul come. Ghost come. Soul devouring domain. Devour heaven, devour earth. As the mightiest strike came crashing down, the Devourer of Souls showed no panic. From within the black mist, a dark hand slowly extended, and countless devouring forces within the devouring realm gathered like black liquid, flowing toward the hand. Devour heaven, devour earth? Doesn't matter. Annihilation slash. The moment the strange black liquid emerged, Feng Hao's expression grew tense. Even more powerful energy surged within him as he prepared to face the threat. The energy from the Devourer of Souls was so terrifying that it caused his pores to contract, as if he was sensing the presence of death itself. Boom! A deafening sound erupted from the thunder axe. Without hesitation, Feng Hao's eyes locked onto the Devourer of Souls, and silver runes appeared on his palm. A more ominous power surged into the axe. With a mighty swing, Feng Hao struck toward the Devourer of Souls. The seemingly simple strike was charged with an immense, world-shattering force. Boom, boom, boom. A brilliant light, thousands of feet wide, exploded. The dark thunder seemed like a demon devouring everything in its path. Wherever it passed, the energy of the world collapsed. Even the devouring force within the devouring realm slowly began to disintegrate. Devour heaven, devour earth. Devour it for me. Seeing this, the Devourer of Souls didn't panic. Instead, he laughed joyfully. Boom! As his voice faded, a small black liquid the size of a palm appeared in his hand, racing toward the 1,000-foot lightning beam that was about to strike. To everyone's surprise, the menacing energy of the lightning was pushed back by the weak black liquid. Watch this. At that moment, Xiao, who had been hidden in the shadows, smirked eerily. A moment later, Xiao's body was wrapped in devouring power, effortlessly bypassing the mysterious barrier of the two ancient celestial trees and arriving beside the circular wooden table. So this is the 7 resurrection soul lamp? Wait, what fluctuation? Just as Xiao was about to take action, a strange itching sensation suddenly arose from the center of his brow. It was an itch that seemed to come from the depths of his soul, making him feel quite uncomfortable. Could this be related to our Xiao clan? After a brief moment of thought, Xiao asked, filled with confusion. After observing and speculating for a short while, Xiao concluded that the 7 resurrection soul lamp didn't appear to be a naturally occurring artifact, but rather one seemingly crafted by someone in the past. What puzzled him, however, was that as he approached the lamp, he felt an oddly familiar sense of connection. This feeling was unmistakably emanating from his brow. In the center of his brow, not only was there the Xiao clan's clan mark, but also the mark of the 10 halls of Yama, the sacred resting place of the Xiao clan's guardians. Never mind. I'll just take it for now. Scratching his head and momentarily dismissing his worries, Xiao extended his hand. The scorching sacred flame surged out from his palm, as only something as pure and powerful as the sacred flame could interact with such a precious item. Ding ding ding. As Xiao moved to take the lamp, the previously tranquil 7 resurrection soul lamp suddenly reacted as if facing a powerful enemy. 3 of its 7 wicks flickered with faint flames, and in an instant, a surge of energy shot directly into Xiao's body. Xiao's eyes widened as he locked gazes with the lamp. His pupils contracted sharply, and the pores on his body instinctively tightened, as his spiritual palace, which had been calm until now, descended into chaos. Calm down. After a moment, the energy within Xiao's 9-layered spiritual palace became unstable, as the brilliant soul power on the 2nd layer of his palace erupted like a headless chicken, scattering everywhere. This fluctuation was unmistakably caused by the weak energy emitted from the 3 wicks of the 7 resurrection soul lamp. Voom voom. At the same time, a golden pattern quietly emerged at the center of Xiao's brow. As soon as the golden pattern appeared, a deep, profound soul energy surged forth and entered Xiao's spiritual palace. With this sudden development, the agitation triggered by the 7 resurrection soul lamp within Xiao's body subsided instantly. At the same time, the 3 wicks of the lamp dimmed and returned to their original state. Gurgle. Xiao didn't have time to think as he cautiously placed the 7 resurrection soul lamp close to his chest and immediately began to run. If not for the brief appearance of the clan mark and the mysterious power it released, he would have likely been completely overwhelmed by the lamp's energy. However, there was no time to question why the clan mark had caused this reaction, as just then, a vicious-looking man broke free from the devouring realm and, with the ferocity of a wild beast, shot toward Xiao. How could the 7 resurrection soul lamp be taken? The ancient sky trees surrounding it are heavily guarded by restrictions. Even I find them difficult to deal with. No, we cannot let the 7 resurrection soul lamp fall into his hands. Just as the words left his mouth, Feng Hao's eyes flashed with a trace of resentment as he watched the enormous lightning strike retreating in the devouring realm. Kid, leave the lamp behind or die. With a mysterious move, Feng Hao broke through the devouring realm and appeared right in front of Xiao. His broad hand rose, filled with dark, menacing thunderbolts, resembling the grim Reaper himself, as he moved to strike Xiao. At such a close distance, this attack from an 8-star Do Xian would likely obliterate Xiao into dust. Gurgle. A chilling wave surged around Xiao, and even his veins bulged as his inner power began to tremble uncontrollably. Clearly, the difference in strength between a mid-4-star Do Xian and an 8-star Do Xian was enormous. Bang, bang, bang. Just as Feng Hao's palm was about to land within a meter of Xiao, a black energy mass belonging to the Devourer of Souls appeared beside Xiao. Immediately, the 2 palms clashed, and both figures were forced back several steps. Despite this, Xiao still took the brunt of the residual force. Teacher. Even though the protection of the Devourer of Souls shielded him, the powerful shockwave from the close-range clash still put immense pressure on Xiao. His chest heaved violently, and his sacred flame core beat wildly in his chest. Several of his cultivation routes had been disrupted. Despite the protection, the shockwave from their clash still caused Xiao to suffer severe injury. Xiao, are you all right? In an instant, the black energy surrounding the Devourer of Souls dissipated, revealing his true appearance. He was an exceptionally handsome man, with chiseled features and piercing white eyes that seemed to possess an otherworldly charm. Protected by the Devourer of Souls, Xiao blood flowed down his clothes, his aura weak and his face extremely pale. Even his meridians were shattered beyond recognition. Yet, despite this, Xiao instinctively clutched the 7 Resurrection Soul Lamp tightly to his chest, determined not to let it suffer even the slightest harm. The mighty lord of the Western Divine Palace would resort to such ruthless measures against a junior. Truly shameful. Let's end it here. You will fall today. At that moment, black, devouring power erupted from the Devourer of Souls' body, transforming into a shocking black flame that hovered around him. A murderous aura, emanating from an upper-tier being, filled the entire 5th layer. The power contained within this black flame was even more overwhelming than Xiao 2 sacred flames. However, this black flame seemed different from any sacred flame. What is this thing? As he observed the enraged Devourer of Souls, Feng Hao felt a surge of fear. In this state, not only was he no match for the Devourer of Souls with his strength of mid-8-star Do Xian, even the Lord of the Ferocious Soul Domain would hesitate to confront him head-on. The black flame alone made Feng Hao's expression turn grim. Teacher, we must leave. The fluctuations are too intense. If we attract powerful figures from the Ferocious Soul Domain, all will be in vain. Xiao struggled to endure the fatigue in his body, his voice weak. He could clearly sense an incredibly powerful presence rapidly approaching them. Seeing Xiao in such a state, the Devourer of Souls felt a sharp pain in his heart. Back in the Xian 3 heavens, he had clearly been inside Xiao, but seeing Mu Yingying's sacrifice and now witnessing Xiao nearly perish at Feng Hao's hands, it truly moved the Devourer of Souls. Don't worry. This time, no matter how many come, I will make them pay the price. The Devourer of Souls slowly smiled. As he spoke, the brilliant black flames hovered on his shoulders. He then calmly walked towards Feng Hao, clearly determined that Feng Hao would die today. Devourer of Souls, you? Seeing the Devourer of Souls' demeanor, Feng Hao shuddered in fear. Die. As the Devourer of Souls moved, the space was completely enveloped by the black flames. Dangerous auras spread throughout the 5th layer. Hee. Feng Hao, well done. Suddenly, the void here began to twist, and a vast 7-colored glow instantly spread. A middle-aged woman stepped out from the void, smiling. The energy clone of the Lord of the Southern Divine Palace. This is troublesome. As he watched the middle-aged woman appear, the Devourer of Souls' voice grew heavy. Though the Lord of the Southern Divine Palace was a woman, she was also at the mid-8-star Do Xian level. Now, with her soul energy clone, she had the strength of an early 8-star Do Xian. Attack! We cannot let them escape. Seeing the energy clone arrive, Feng Hao no longer hesitated. Thunder erupted around him, spreading through the void as he tried to block the escape routes of the Devourer of Souls and his companions. Wait, if we can't defeat them, abandon the 7 Resurrection Soul Lamp. The Devourer of Souls said helplessly, as the mysterious devouring power surged within him. Clearly, he was preparing to break through forcefully. Teacher, run. Xiao, with his last ounce of strength, shouted. Feng Hao's actions were clearly intended to buy time. Once more powerful figures from the Ferocious Soul Domain arrived, their situation would become dire. If the Devourer of Souls fell into the hands of the Ferocious Soul Domain, it would only be a matter of time before the domain became its vassal, let alone 2 mid-8-star powerhouses. If more reinforcements arrived, they would undoubtedly perish here. Sigh. Seeing Xiao Yan's stubborn expression, the devourer of souls shook his head in helplessness. He glanced at the two mid-8-star Docian powerhouses before the black flames around him dissipated. With a wave of his hand, a black aura wrapped around Xiao Yan and tore open the fifth layer's void, attempting to escape. Devourer of souls, you won't get away. Just as the devourer of souls and Xiao Yan tried to flee, the mysterious woman who had just appeared raised her hand. A pink glow surged from her palm, carrying with it an unstoppable force as it shot towards the two. Crash! With a sound, the pink glow hit a certain point in the void, causing it to collapse instantly. Go! In that critical moment, a graceful figure slowly emerged from the edge of the devouring power. She intercepted the attack aimed at the two of them and then turned her beautiful eyes toward Xiao Yan and the others, saying calmly. However, when this figure appeared, Xiao Yan noticed that the usually composed devourer of souls suddenly froze for a moment. Soul-devouring domain. Xun'er. Both the middle-aged woman formed from energy and Feng Hao exclaimed simultaneously, their inner energies surging uncontrollably. Boom! A flood of pink radiance mixed with jet-black thunder descended upon this world like a supreme ruler, instantly filling the realm with an intense, overwhelming sense of unease. Teacher, I'm so relieved you're unharmed. At the same time, a graceful silhouette standing on the edge of the void closed her beautiful eyes slightly and spoke with satisfaction. This solitary and elegant figure was none other than Xun'er, the current powerhouse of the soul-devouring domain. As the disciple of the devourer of souls, Xun'er had a subtle ability to sense her master's exact location. At great expense to her energy, she crossed the void to retrieve him. Fortunately, her efforts had paid off. Xun'er, as the acting domain master of the soul-devouring domain, why have you suddenly intruded upon my ferocious soul domain? What is your intent? Instantly, two terrifying waves of energy roared toward her. Feng Hao's expression turned grim as he spoke. They understood that Xun'er's power posed a significant threat to the entire ferocious soul domain. Years ago, during the war between the two domains, the soul-devouring domain suffered heavy losses. After compensating with significant resources and territories, Xun'er became the acting domain master. Since then, the two domains had maintained peace. Under her rule, however, the soul-devouring domain had become exceptionally united, with its strength growing at an alarming pace. Xun'er's talent was rumored to rival that of the devourer of souls. Though not yet as formidable as her master, her strength had likely reached the late stage of 8-star Docian. Humph! Two little rats. Xun'er's brows furrowed slightly as she scoffed, silver light cascading from above like a waterfall. Instantly, the presence of three dominant auras, all at the 8-star Docian level, filled the space, their majesty awe-inspiring. Curse it! The devourer of souls has escaped, and they've taken the 7 resurrection soul lamp with them. They clearly came prepared. Feng Hao cursed in frustration as he sensed the complete disappearance of the devourer of souls aura. Years ago, the ferocious soul domain master had stumbled upon the 7 resurrection soul lamp by chance. Despite the combined efforts of their strongest experts, its secrets had remained impenetrable. Feng Hao had volunteered to guard it within the depths of the Earth Spirit Tower, partly out of ambition. Unveiling the lamp's mysteries could elevate his power and status beyond even the domain master, and partly to escape the endless schemes of the palace's power struggles. But now, the devourer of souls, aided by Xiao Yan, had taken the lamp right under his nose. Feng Hao's face darkened in fury. They've already gone far. It's time for me to leave too. A trace of bitterness flickered in Xun'er's beautiful eyes as she turned indifferently. With a graceful turn, she cast a fleeting glance at the two behind her and let out a faint sneer. She knew that if she truly desired to end this today, her strength and methods were more than sufficient to ensure the two never left. But her purpose was not to defeat them. It was to protect her teacher, the devourer of souls. What such a breathtaking woman! Even the middle-aged woman, with her own stunning appearance, couldn't help but feel a twinge of envy upon seeing Xun'er. Xun'er moved with an ethereal grace, her form draped in exquisite silk that enhanced her delicate figure. Her cascading black hair flowed like a waterfall, further accentuating her beauty. On her jade-like hand, she wore a silver ring adorned with ancient patterns that pulsed with a mysterious energy. Her entire being radiated an air of purity and elegance, as though she were a celestial being untouched by the mortal world. Chi-Dai, attack. In an instant, a trace of malice flickered in Feng Hao's eyes. The thunder axe in his hand erupted with dazzling black lightning, its energy roaring like a furious lion. Simultaneously, Chi-Dai, the energy avatar of the Southern Divine Palace Master, unleashed a surge of seven-colored energy that shot toward Xun'er with terrifying power. "I'm done playing with you." Binding of space. Xun'er responded with a faint smile as a silvery, ancient energy spread around her. Instantly, the void trembled violently. What? How could she possess the ancient source of spatial power? Seeing this, the two adversaries exchanged heavy, uneasy glances. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the next moment, brilliant silver spatial energy burst across the fifth layer of the Earth Spirit Tower, igniting the realm in an apocalyptic explosion. Whoosh, whoosh. With a sound, the void closed again, and Xun'er's figure slowly disappeared from sight. Let's secure this place first. Next, we need to report what happened here to the Devourer of Souls. It seems that the appearance of Xun'er and the Devourer of Souls was no coincidence, the two observed, abandoning their pursuit. Instead, they each unleashed their power to stabilize the situation, and soon, strange events began unfolding inside the Devourer of Souls temple. Meanwhile, the Devourer of Souls, with Xiao in tow, broke through the void and escaped from the Earth Spirit Tower. They arrived in a desolate wilderness near the Earth Spirit Domain's Earth Pavilion, a remote area far from human habitation, an ideal hiding spot. "Little one, are you all right?" As soon as they arrived, the Devourer of Souls unleashed a dazzling devouring force, directing it towards Xiao's body to try and heal his injuries. "Master, I'm fine. This is the 7 Resurrection Soul Lamp. Thankfully, you were here, Master," Xiao weakly said, forcing himself to stay upright with sheer willpower. The 7 Resurrection Soul Lamp on his chest was pushed forward towards the Devourer of Souls, a faint smile on his face. Buzz, buzz. The Devourer of Souls ignored the seemingly ordinary lamp in Xiao's hands. He placed his hands on Xiao's shoulders, and his radiant devouring power surged into Xiao's body, mending his wounds. For a moment, both of them stood in silence. The 7 Resurrection Soul Lamp was carelessly discarded by the Devourer of Souls. If it weren't for that artifact, Xiao would have perished on the 5th floor of the Earth Spirit Tower, a fact that filled the Devourer of Souls with guilt. Buzz, buzz. Not long after, the void before them shifted, and a graceful figure materialized. "Master," the figure spoke respectfully to the handsome man who was focused on healing Xiao with his devouring power. Swish, swish. This seemingly light sound rippled through Xiao's body, creating waves of shock. The woman who appeared before them exuded terrifying power, even stronger than the 2 8-star Do Xian from earlier. However, her appearance was altered, making her look indistinguishable from an ordinary human, and even her aura was concealed, blending in seamlessly with the surrounding environment. It was this stark contrast that made Xiao realize that the two people around him were probably the strongest beings in the Ghost Realm's devouring domain. "Xun'er, it's been a long time. This is your little junior brother." The Devourer of Souls didn't turn around when he noticed the figure in the void. He continued to direct his devouring power into Xiao's body, healing his wounds, but he spoke with a hint of satisfaction in his voice, clearly carrying a deep affection for Xun'er, a name that held countless unspoken words. "Master." Xun'er's eyes shimmered with tears upon hearing the familiar voice. The Devourer of Souls knew how important Xun'er was. If it weren't for him, Xun'er would have long perished elsewhere, and the current situation in the devouring domain might never have come to pass. "Wait, let me finish healing your little junior brother first." Seeing Xun'er's emotional reaction, the Devourer of Souls spoke again, understanding her nature. Xun'er quietly stood aside, her head lowered as she pondered something. On the other side, Xiao Yan's injuries were being meticulously treated by the Devourer of Souls. His condition improved quickly, and soon he was back to normal. Xiao Yan had originally thought that the damage to his meridians caused by the energy fluctuations from the 8-star Docian would require a significant amount of time and pills to heal. However, he was stunned when the Devourer of Souls restored him to full health in just a few minutes. Cough, cough. Soon, the Devourer of Souls withdrew his hands. After a brief moment, Xiao Yan's breathing calmed. However, the Devourer of Souls let out a slight cough, and his aura appeared a bit weak. "Master, are you all right?" At that moment, Xun'er carefully asked. After escaping from the Earth Spirit Tower and arriving here, Xun'er had noticed her master's weakened aura. Fearing for his condition, she had secretly come alone, and fortunately, she had arrived in time. Otherwise, her master's situation could have become much more critical. Now that the Devourer of Souls had used his origin power to heal Xiao Yan, it was clear that he was in a weakened state, having already been injured. Xun'er felt a pang of sympathy, but she knew her master's temperament and did not speak up. Once the healing process was finished, Xun'er spoke softly. "Younger disciple Xiao Yan, I greet you, senior sister." At this moment, Xun'er did not reveal her true appearance, but instead disguised herself as an ordinary-looking woman, likely to conceal her aura. "Junior brother, no need to be so polite," Xun'er said with a smile upon hearing his words, and then, her jade-like hand slowly reached out toward Xiao Yan. Creak. With a sound, Xun'er's hand, as white as jade, gently clasped Xiao Yan's, but the ancient jade ring on her hand began to hum and vibrate, as if something was happening. Hiss! In an instant, a coldness, originating deep within his soul, swept through his body. Xiao Yan's pupils contracted tightly, and he completely forgot where he was. He felt as if he had been pulled into a world of ice, with all his power sealed, and in this vast icy domain, he felt as small as an ant. "This is Xun'er's power. Don't worry." The voice of the Devourer of Souls echoed after a moment. Xiao Yan's restless heart finally calmed down. This junior brother, is he from the Xiao clan? After a brief pause, the icy world surrounding Xiao Yan disappeared in an instant, and he stepped back from the ancient jade ring on Xun'er's hand. Xun'er withdrew her hand gently and looked at Xiao Yan in surprise as she spoke. Those who were accepted as disciples by the Devourer of Souls were all extraordinary geniuses, and the two words, Xiao clan, were enough to prove Xiao Yan's exceptional nature. This guy is indeed a descendant of the Xiao clan, and even more so, a direct descendant from the origin of the Xiao clan in the lower realms. During the Two-Domain War, I was caught in a spatial turbulence and ended up on the Dodi continent. It was this little brat who found me, and from there, he supported me all the way, which led to who I am now, the Devourer of Souls said faintly. Xun'er nodded lightly after hearing this. However, at this moment, the usually indifferent Xun'er found herself feeling a growing sense of fondness for this junior brother. After all, Xun'er's relationship with the Devourer of Souls was far from ordinary. She had already seen him as an irreplaceable part of her life. Xiao Yan's actions had undoubtedly gained her trust, which laid a foundation for Xiao Yan to later dominate the Great Thousand Worlds. All right, no need to dwell on the past. It's all over now, the Devourer of Souls said with a hearty laugh after a while, then shrugged his shoulders. "Master, this thing, could it be the 7 Resurrection Soul Lamp?" After a brief inquiry and confirming that Xiao Yan was indeed fine aside from some damage to his original essence, Xun'er focused her gaze on the exquisite lamp resting on the ground. "It is indeed this item," the Devourer of Souls answered. "This thing is said to help you restore your complete original essence." Xun'er said cautiously as she carefully picked up the delicate lamp with a smile. "There are indeed records of this, but whether it can truly unleash such power, we'll have to try it to know," the Devourer of Souls replied. At that moment, it was clear that if he regained his full original power, the ferocious soul domain would undoubtedly be defeated in the upcoming Two-Domain War. "The method to use this item is already in my mind, but we need to find a quiet place. This type of recovery takes time," The devourer of souls murmured, eyeing the mysterious 7 resurrection soul lamp. Master, half of the army from the devouring soul domain has already arrived in the territory of the ferocious soul domain aboard your devouring soul spaceship. It will be a relatively peaceful place, Xun'er said. Spaceship. The devourer of souls slowly turned around, muttering as he processed this. Crack. Master, thank you for your hard work on the journey to the Do-D continent and the Ghost Realm. This is the source fire of the ghost-faced soul flame and the sacred flame crystal. If you can absorb it, you will surely achieve that long-desired realm, Xiao said with a smile, his chest rising and falling sharply. One hand was wrapped in cyan liquid flames, while the other held a cyan crystal, and he looked at the devourer of souls with a grin. Is this the sacred flame source of the ghost-faced soul flame and the sacred flame crystal? At this moment, Xiao, who had already gained a good amount of favor from Xun'er, caused a look of disbelief to flash across her face. This guy actually dared to separate the sacred flame source. Was he not afraid that losing this part of his origin would hinder his future cultivation? Or perhaps, the devourer of souls' favor had already far surpassed the value of the sacred flame. A trace of doubt lingered in Xun'er's heart, refusing to fade. The cyan liquid flames seemed reluctant to leave Xiao, as if they were nostalgic. And though Xiao had temporarily separated the ghost-faced soul flame source, the sacred flame still remained with him, meaning his aura and origin were not damaged. The space fell silent for a moment. Xun'er's beautiful eyes shifted back and forth between Xiao and the devourer of souls. It wasn't that Xun'er was fascinated by the intensity of the ghost-faced soul flame, but rather that she understood her teacher. While he wasn't an evil person and had done many things in his life that he could be proud of, breaking through to the 8-star Docian and entering the 9-star Docian realm was something he had longed for. The 9-star Docian, this was an entirely different level. In the Great Thousand Worlds, those who reached the 9-star Docian were referred to as reincarnation. Once one entered the realm of reincarnation, the changes that occurred were perhaps the most mysterious and unpredictable phenomena in all of existence. Immortal, existing alongside the heavens and the earth, truly eternal. This level of power was a tremendous attraction even to a being like the devourer of souls. However, what Xun'er was most concerned about was her junior disciple, Xiao. She knew that once the sacred flame left his body, the consequences could be dire. At best, his strength would regress and his foundation would become unstable, making it difficult to advance further. At worst, he could perish. Either of these outcomes would be disastrous for Xiao. You little rascal, what you've done really surprises me, said the devourer of souls, his voice calm and gentle. But you need this more than I do. Take it back. I believe that your future achievements will not be any less than mine. As for reincarnation, I will find my own way to reach it. And after our defeat in the last battle between the two realms, this time, we will make the fierce soul realm pay for everything. At this moment, the devourer of souls smiled kindly, but there was a strange, subtle energy in his voice, a ripple that seemed to resonate with the very laws of the universe. This ripple, like the natural laws of heaven and earth, was known in the Great Thousand Worlds as reincarnation. Is this the power of reincarnation? Xun'er, watching this scene, was filled with shock and gasped in disbelief. Even with her current strength, late-stage 8-star Docian, she had only a rudimentary understanding of reincarnation. The power of reincarnation seemed to only exist in the Great Thousand Worlds. What it truly was, how to cultivate it, and how to obtain it were all mysteries, even beyond her exceptional talent. Gulyulu, take it back, she said after a moment. Seeing Xiao unmoved, Xun'er shifted her form and appeared by his side. She lightly patted his shoulder, and in an instant, the power of the sacred flame returned to his body. Immediately, her radiant energy poured into Xiao, preventing him from suffering any harm. However, this consumed a significant portion of Xun'er's own essence, and restoring it would take a considerable amount of time. Without the essence power of an 8-star Docian to nourish Xiao, the consequences of his actions today, whether successful or not, would have threatened his foundation. Sigh. Xiaoyan shook his head, seeing this. All right, little one. This time, perhaps we need to part ways. After a brief silence, the Devourer of Souls spoke again. With half of the soul-devouring realm's powerhouses here, an attack on the fierce soul realm would require careful planning. Furthermore, they needed a true leader. With the 7 resurrection soul lamp in hand, it was time for him to recover his own essence power. Teacher, don't worry. I'll walk the rest of the path myself. After all, I'm your disciple. I can't let you down, hee, Xiaoyan said with a grin. However, he kept quiet about the 7 resurrection soul lamp and the connection to his Xiao mark. Much later, when the 7 resurrection soul lamp returned to Xiaoyan, it would open a whole new door for him. Undying fire and heartbreaking flames should both be in the hands of the fierce soul master, but there is one thing you should remember. No matter what method he finds, because he is a soul and spirit-based being, he cannot condense a human body. Even in the worst-case scenario, he can only devour a single sacred flame. The Devourer of Souls said, watching Xiaoyan's radiant smile. Understood, teacher. Xiaoyan nodded heavily. It was clear that with only the last of the sacred flame remaining, the Ghost Realm journey would soon come to an end. Afterward, he would resurrect Mu Yingying and head to the Do-Di continent to find Xun'er and resolve the family mysteries. Let's go. There are many strong people from our soul-devouring realm in the Earth Spirit Hall and the Fierce Soul Realm. They will assist you in the shadows. This time, I need to enter seclusion. Perhaps when we meet again, you'll have grown to a level that will surprise me, the Devourer of Souls said with a relaxed smile. Teacher, I'll be joining the battle between the 2 realms, Xiaoyan responded with a smile, not saying much more. I believe in you. Master, senior sister, I'm leaving. Take care of yourself. After a moment, Xiaoyan's figure showed no hesitation as he walked away, heading towards the central region and the 10,000 Fires sect. Xiaoyan feared separation, especially from someone like the Devourer of Souls, a powerful being who had accompanied him for so long. The Devourer of Souls was already on the same level as Yao Lao, so Xiaoyan had no choice but to act this way, trying not to reveal any negative emotions. That place had become Xiaoyan's refuge. Not only did he have many subordinates who trusted him, but he also had people like Xiao Gu'e, who truly made him feel warmth. Master, isn't this a bit too cruel for him? As Xiaoyan left, Xun'er's beautiful eyes suddenly revealed a hint of concern as she asked, evidently having sensed something else from Xiaoyan when she used the jade ring earlier. Entrusting the heavy responsibility of the Xiao clan to a young man worried Xun'er to some extent. The matters of the Xiao clan must wait until his strength reaches the 7-star level, or even higher, before we can tell him. Moreover, the experts of the Xiao clan have shown us great favor, and after the end of the 2 realms, I will try to contact other powerful figures to explore this secret. I hope the final result won't be too bad. Don't worry, this little fellow has grown under my watch, the Devourer of Souls said helplessly. This little guy is even more unpredictable than I am. In the future, he will probably stand at the pinnacle of the great thousand worlds. Xun'er smiled after a moment. Let's go. With that, the 2 figures slowly disappeared, carrying the 7 resurrection soul lamp, heading towards a mysterious void in the ferocious soul domain, where the main base for the Devourer of Souls' assault on the ferocious soul domain was located. This was a space vessel built from the Devourer of Souls' devouring power, specifically used to carry powerful individuals on a large scale. It could be said that the many powerful experts quietly lurking aboard could completely obliterate the ferocious soul domain in an instant. However, with the return of the Devourer of Souls and Xun'er, after Xun'er issued orders to wait and observe, the vessel quietly remained in place. For these powerful experts, a few years passed in the blink of an eye, but as time went on, their dissatisfaction with Xun'er grew. Little did they know that Xun'er was deliberately delaying the time in order to let the Devourer of Souls emerge. Once the Devourer of Souls successfully emerged, the chances of success in this war between the 2 realms would increase drastically. This was no coincidence, as the Devourer of Souls had just experienced a sudden surge of power. Reincarnation. A strong being who had entered the cycle of reincarnation could destroy an entire realm. After all, even in the Ghost Realm, There was no one in the cycle of reincarnation. The top experts were stuck at the peak of the 8-star Do Xian, unable to take that final step. One step to heaven, one step to hell.